Am I going live? Hey, what's up? It's Jim, and I think this is Movie Crap Live. I think it is. I hope you can hear me. I'm not sure yet. It's always weird. Beginning. Hey! Okay, there. I heard myself. That's awesome. Hello to everyone. It's been a weird 2 weeks without you, to be honest. It was, even though it was a good 4th of July. Hello, Jacob Shelter, Ace the Windrider, Cornbread, Bruce Parker, Austin Zane Powers, Ryan Walterson, Purple Goop? Don't know if I know you, but hello. Chum Crasser, Nathaniel Foga. Yes, we are back. Is the tweet out? Looks like it is. Wow. Already retweeted. That makes me feel good. I'm a person. M Blood T. Enjoyed your cartoon of the pizza party. Whoa. Kevin James ASMR. Well, that is a reason to show my face for that one. Hello. Robot Lombax, K Master, Smooth F, Eldwood DD, Bloxy Oxwinkle. Let me cut. Hey, how's it going? I'm drinking water, but Bloxy Oxwinkle kicking the show off with some Red Bull. Got some sugar-free at the store. Have some lights now. I'm that kind of YouTuber, I guess. Anyway, cheers to you, Bloxy Oxwinkle. I did see that he had a new video, and I didn't get to watch it before the show, and I'm sorry. But anyway, cheers to you. Cheers to Zane Powers way back in the 1980s. Congrats to Clone High. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Purple Light, yeah. They're literally my wife's. We have like a lot of plants, and they're literally for plants. And I kept saying I was going to do it, and I did it. So they're there. I have regular show DVDs. I don't think buying them now is going to help. Sign up for HBO Max and watch that. That is what helps at this point. Yeah, I think I shared to everybody, but if not, there we go. That is cold. I like it. All right. Oh, thank you for saying my videos are pretty damn good. Thank you. Oh, you're not talking about me. You're talking about Kevin James, and now I feel stupid. Anyway, thank you, Nathaniel Foga. I'm glad you got your stickers. Cheers to you. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing that. Show the plants on the camera. I'd just be like showing everywhere, but we have a lot of plants. It's crazy. Laser discs. Well, you know the deal with the regular show laser disc sauce, and they tried to do it as a Comic-Con exclusive, and apparently they don't make laser discs anymore. That's what, did Pan tell me that? Did Pan tell you that? Let me move this. Dangerous territory, moving this. Okay. So, Nina Garcia, hello. That's a cool name. Oh, censored version. Mark Perlow, hello. Chum Crasser. Anyway, so, yeah, it was weird not being here on a Saturday. I think with all the fireworks going on, it would have been inaudible. So, you know, but we had a really great time. Like Sophie you could look out through the window and see, you could see, what? I wanted to flex, but my name's not a bottom. Is it not at the bottom? That's probably because it's a previous one. Austin, I'll change that when I edit it later. Sorry, it's because it's from a previous... It's reused, and it's not in the same thing the other ones are, and I know how that happened, and I'll fix it right after that. So apologies to you, Austin. But thank you. Cheers to you. But yeah, it was cool because we could watch the Macy's fireworks, which was weird because Macy's this year... only the Empire State Building part. They shot fireworks off the Empire State Building, and I think they only shot it there because no one's around. But the rest were shot previous days so people wouldn't gather, and they were shot like through the past week or something. And they really didn't make it clear when they shot the fireworks, shot the footage of the fireworks, I guess. But Austin, I am sorry about that. I should have realized that it happened, so I'll replace that. And make sure that doesn't happen in the future. But yeah, it was cool, and she could look out the window and see fireworks, and I kept lifting her up so she could see them. We could see them like all the way like down in Brooklyn, not in this room, but in the other room. Aren't fireworks illegal? Yes, but no one seems to care. There's way less fireworks, I think, because of everyone used up all their fireworks. Everyone was like, how do people have all this money for fireworks? And I was like, well, they're eventually going to stop, and I don't think I've heard any tonight. We watched a lot of cool movies. I got Sophie into, she chose How to Train Your Dragon, because she kept seeing an ad for it before Book of Life, and she watched How to Train Your Dragon a ton of times. We watched Labyrinth. That wasn't as big of a hit, to be honest, but she watched it. And we watched BFG, which I didn't... It's alright. It's just like Spielberg. It's interesting when you see a Spielberg movie, Spielberg kids movie, because you're like, no kids movie could ever have this budget or this excessiveness just because he's Spielberg. But I don't know the book, and my wife knows the book and didn't like it. I thought it was alright, but it's probably not on anyone's list of the best Spielberg movies. Man, what else was I up to? I was making a lot of content. I wanted to have a video for you guys Friday. I wanted to talk about why I did it. And when you see this video, which will come out on Tuesday right now, when it comes out, you'll be like, why does he do that? It's because I wanted to do another thing, but I felt like to do that thing, I had to review the first thing. And you'll be able to figure it out. Should I just say it? Okay. Anyway, so I have a review of Clerks from 1994. I basically do it because I wanted to review Clerks Animated and the Clerks TV pilot on Movie Crap later, like a month later, and I just didn't want to. I was like, I can't do that much Clerks media without having recently seen Clerks and reviewed Clerks. Seems silly to me. So Tuesday it's going to be a review of Clerks, which I think. I don't know. I'm not sure if anyone's as into that, but it was kind of like I kind of want to revisit a lot of the old Kevin Smith stuff because it's been a while, and I feel like it's interesting to look at now. So I don't know. I hope people are into that. I would like to do the View Askew universe, but I don't know. And I've never seen Jersey Girl. I don't know if people are as into that. Is that something that people? Are you guys into Kevin Smith? Like talking about his old stuff? I don't know. A review of Degrassi. I wouldn't mind doing a review of Degrassi at some point. Maybe I should. Maybe that's like. Clerks still holds up, by the way, but I get more into it. You have to watch that, but I want to get into. There's a lot of Kevin Smith media I do want to get into, but then there's like I never really want to review Cop Out, but I wouldn't mind doing up to like Clerks 2. But I've also never seen Zack and Miri. But yeah, I want to do Clerks animated. So, yeah, yeah. Anyway, okay. A lot of people are saying. A lot of people are into this Kevin Smith thing. So I would like to just do the View Askew universe because it was such a big deal to me as when I was a teenager, and I don't think it's as big a deal for me now. So I just thought it'd be an interesting thing to look back on. Oh, you fell down wait, Nick Tendo fell down a Kevin Smith rabbit hole, but you haven't seen anything? I don't understand. I guess a research one. You should see Clerks at least. I think you might appreciate Mallrats Nick Tendo, but it's not like good. It's more like 12-year-old 90s jam, and I think that was about as far as it went. So, you know, yeah. I think they cut stuff out of Jersey Girl. Anyway, I actually saw a true story, and I'll talk about this whenever I get to do a Clerks animated review. I literally saw a preview of Clerks Animated, an uncut version, when I saw Kevin Smith a month or two before the show premiered. And then I actually watched and recorded, and I don't think I still have this tape, both episodes of Clerks when they premiered on ABC. So I was like, I'm a diehard when it comes to Clerks Animated. Yeah, I didn't review the View Askew universe. I should. Anyway, Cop Out? Really, Nathaniel Foga? Anyway, I think we should, I don't think you came here to hear me talk about what's coming out. But I wanted to have it Friday, but then Sophie actually woke up, and then I was trying to watch Close Enough. Oh yeah, Close Enough. Can Nick Tendo predict the future? Clearly when it comes to Clone High, he can. You're right, St. Powers. Cheers to you. I've only watched one Close Enough, and I wanted to watch more. It was the same time he called me the Rev. Oh, and I'm glad you got the stickers, Andrew B. I watched only one Close Enough, but it's really two, because then they do that weird thing where I'm like, why? It's clearly 2 episodes, and you force them to be a half-hour episode, and they were made as 11-minute episodes. Why did you not cut out the theme song and then format it in a different way? It just feels like these were done this way. I don't know. I got stuff to do. I don't really care. So I just I kind of wish that's my one problem with it, is like, you're really watching 16 episodes of Close Enough. You're not watching 8 episodes of Close Enough. I kind of wish they had just broken it up in a different way. But I am totally gonna review it, and I want to have a review out next week. I'm not cool enough, apparently, to get a Close Enough box. Like, Roundtable got one, Pan Pizza, other people, and I'm not like jealous, or I am jealous, but I think it would have been cool. I think I would have appreciated it, but nobody. I don't think I'm getting one because I don't think people have my address. But I was a little like, oh man, I don't want a Close Enough box. I guess I'm jealous. I'm not gonna go on a. Remember the schmoes went on that thing you didn't get to Star Wars or something. I don't think I deserve it. I just, it's just something that I'm like, oh, that looks neat. I would like to see it in person, but I don't know where I would keep it long term. So it would probably just be a very fleeting thing anyway. Will, thank you, Will. Will said a super chat, and I do want to see Palm Springs. I'm planning to review it next week. Said, Lonely Island fans, rise up, watch. Oh, hold on. Just complain about it on Twitter? That's what Salty did? That sounds like a very salty... That sounds like something Salty would... Okay, I will complain. I'm gonna... Oh, maybe I should... See, I didn't want to be that guy, but I guess you have to be in this world. Anyway, Will said, Lonely Island fans rise up, watch Palm Springs on Hulu today, and it was pretty good. Thank you very much. Cheers to you, Will. I've heard it's really good. Apparently, Lonely Island produced it, but it's not a Lonely Island movie. I found that, not to discredit your super chat, Will, but I just want to clear that up for everyone because I was surprised by that. Later, and yes, all right, yeah. But anyway, that's interesting. Thank you, Nintendo, for telling me how to complain my way into a Close Enough box. It is also like, I relate to it really hard. Okay, I'll give you some initial impressions. The one thing I don't like, and this is going off of 2 episodes, that actually sort of upset me a little. One is it's weird to hear J.G. Quintel voice someone as, like, it feels like he's now playing Rigby almost. He's not playing Mordecai, which was an interesting switch. But also, I kind of think, this is like, I don't like how dads are portrayed sometimes, because I feel like dads now like have to take on a lot more responsibility and can't be as freewheeling and silly and like spend money like he did in that one sequence. I was like, sure, maybe I would buy a churro, but I wouldn't buy a zoot suit and a parrot. And I get it's supposed to be exaggerated, but I sort of like get sick of that crap when it comes to dads, because I kind of am like, you can't really get away with that anymore. You shouldn't get away with that. And I was like, okay, cool. He's like a typical, like, kind of sitcom-y dad thing. Maybe they changed that character going on, but I sort of like, I don't know. It sort of bummed it, not to be like the white guy dad who's like offended. I wasn't offended or something. I felt a little let down by that, because I feel like it would be more interesting to have more nuance to something like that and be like, oh, that zoot suit looks cool, and him think like, well, if I had a ton of money. But I also like don't spend like that ever. I feel very like conflict, and it's like, anyway, I'll watch more and have better formed ideas, but I was a little let down by that. I like the mom role, like when they're looking at the house, I was like, you know what, I would think like, it sucks that we can't live in that house, but I would imagine what that like would be like and think about what would stop me from being in there, and I wouldn't just go like and jump in the pool and stuff. And to be honest, like I more took her side, because I felt like he was being a little too irresponsible. Like, that's not sort of what a marriage is, and I feel like a lot of people put that role on the woman, and I don't think that I didn't like that. But anyway, but I've only seen 2 episodes, and I guess you know where I stand right now. I noticed people were like, could you talk about Close Enough? And that's like my initial thoughts. I still actually really still like it, and I like what it's saying about like being a parent and taking care of a kid, and I don't really have to deal with school projects or anything. They do seem like real bad parents, but anyway, yeah, scrod likey. Anyway, cheers to you, Austin. I mean, it's J.G. Quintel. I'm going to watch every one, but it's going to be different from, I think, no offense to my cartoon community peers, but I think mine will be different, because I'll be like, well, you would, if you're going to go zone for that school, and it's going to be like me complaining about parent stuff. So I think it'll be very much the the one parent in the cartoon community, maybe, unless, you know, although Shane's crazy. I don't know what Retro Nemo's doing. Maybe he's got a kid somewhere too. I'm sorry, Shane. All right, I shouldn't have done that. I'm sorry. Okay. I love Retro Nemo. He's great. Let's move on. We are very late in the show, and I haven't gotten to things. All right, first off, join the Discord. It is great. You should definitely hang out on there. If you like being in the chat and like being with these people, you can hang out with them literally all the time. They're there. We're a very active community. There's an Ask Jim channel. You can ask me questions. There's a lot of questions for me to answer right now, but I do answer every single one of them. There's a suggestion channel. It's mainly for this show, but if you want to suggest a movie that you don't think I've reviewed, I will actually answer you and tell you why I would do it or why I wouldn't or something. So if you want more of an active role, join the Discord. I actually think it's a great community and a great Discord. And Zane Powers and Austin do an awesome job with that. As well as if you'd like to support the show, and pretty much everything I do is fan supported. It's supported by viewers like you, either through super chats during the show or through my Patreon. I have a lot of cool exclusive content. I have Knockforce and Cletus the Fetus commentaries. I put out a different video. Sorry, that's mostly a Patreon exclusive. That's mostly the commentary series of old Knockforces. I did Letters is going to come out on Sunday, and I think Cletus the Fetus commentary will come out this week, as well as a cool, a very cool, a time-lapse video that is just a Patreon exclusive, because I'm trying to do a sunrise one, and I want, like, I need to get the right environment, and anyway. So the best one, I think, and music-wise, I really liked it, so I'm excited to present it to the patrons this week. So it's got a lot of cool stuff, as well as every episode of my public access show. Movie stuff is only available on demand through my Patreon. Anyway, and it's a pretty cool community and all that. But anyway, thank you very much for your support. If you are financially able to do so, either through a super chat here or on my Patreon, I very much appreciate your support. All right, so let's get into this. Fast and Furious in outer space. So what is the deal with this? And this has been talked about for a while. And why are we suddenly taking this more seriously? So there was an interview in the Hollywood Reporter with, was it the Hollywood Reporter? No, what? Someone? Who cares? Doesn't matter. But it was an interview with Ludacris. Ludacris, who's been in every one, not three, but he was in... Was he in 4? Anyway, he's been in a lot of them, and he kind of let slip, basically, that they would be doing, that there might be a thing in space, and they're like, are you sure? And he kind of acted like he wasn't supposed to talk about it. Now, in terms of Fast and Furious people, and if you're wondering about Fast and Furious lore, because I am a fan, and it's not a joke at all, although I never saw the cartoon, and I sort of regret that, but is that if Tyrese says something... No one listens to Tyrese ever. Just he's fun in the movies, but he really just shouldn't say things. But Ludacris is more of a reliable source, especially because he backtracked, because he is someone you trust in terms of Fast and Furious news. So it looks like there's a possibility of it going to space. There's a lot of people saying like there's this competition of whether Mission Impossible will go to space or Fast and Furious, and people were also, I think Scott Menzel or Mendelsohn or whatever from Forbes was bringing up that he thought it was bullshit that everyone shits on Moonraker and really wants these movies to go to space. I will criticize that take because Moonraker is not good. I don't care. Everyone who's older than me, who's like 10 years older than me, loves that movie. I've seen it. I don't like Moonraker. It's not a good movie. So I'm not gonna apologize for not liking Moonraker. I like but Fast and Furious is like upping the ridiculous. It's also like if I think here's what I think. Another hot take on the space crap here. Let's get. I want Dominic Toretto's muscle car to fly out of like a space thing. Him go, in the space car, like launch into it would be a space car, I guess. His muscle car like launch into orbit, and it's like it's breaking up in the atmosphere, and then he just like jumps like in Fast 5. Have you ever seen Fast 5? You should see Fast 5, guys. And he just jumps off the car with Paul Walker because they just look around like, what do we do? Well, let's just jump because family. Anyway, I don't have as much of a bit as I did with the Tom Cruise thing. I probably should have thought of one, but I mean, how many times can we talk about movies going to space? But I think, will Tom Cruise go to space before Fast and Furious? It doesn't make more sense for Fast and Furious to go. And I just think if that's how they end the Fast and Furious franchise, which I don't think should ever end, But I feel like if that's how Vin Diesel dies coming into the Earth's atmosphere, and then he like kills off, whatever villain of the week there is, then that would be a perfect way to end it. I think, it would be like, come on. All right. So but yeah, it is. There's some credit to. It's partly because there's like sort of not a lot of entertainment news that people took this seriously, but it is in terms of Fast and Furious news cycle. Yeah, you're doing so well, Jimmy. Keep it up. Thank you, Male Tears Party Monster, for the win. Cheers to you. All right. So, Chicken Run 2. What was going on with Chicken Run 2? That seems to be a big story. And Chicken Run... Okay, so basically, Julia Swahala, I think that's how you say her name, who was previously Safi on AbFab. And believe it or not, I'm going to admit this, I guess I'll be horny on Maine or whatever, as the kids say. I had a huge crush on her when Chicken Run came out, and I was like, man, she is so cute and stuff. And then I looked up how old she was, and I was like, oh, I don't think that's happening. Not that it would have if we were in an age appropriate thing. She's I think 20 years older than me, something like that. I think she's in her maybe 15. I don't think. Anyway, so I used to have a crush on her from AbFab, and I'm a big AbFab fan. And we have Swahala. Thank you, Ryan. Ryan Walters said, helping the day. So I like Jim now. Sorry. So anyway, she was told by the producers of Chicken Run that she was too old for the part of Daisy in Chicken Run 2 because her voice sounds too old. Now, before we get into, I do think what they did is dumb. I will say, yes, your voice does age. I didn't like her in... Okay, I didn't like her as the chicken. I liked her in AbFab. So, like, I'm not a Saber Sparks, guys. I'm not... I mentioned AbFab. Don't get it twisted on that. Anyway, so she was replaced... no, she basically... Sorry. What I was going to say, Jim's real fetish is coming out. Oh, boy. Cheers to you. Anyway. So, I will flat out say, yes, people's voices do age. If you watch Incredibles and Incredibles 2, you do notice their voices aging. And it is a noticeable difference sometimes. I didn't hear that with her. But here's the other thing. What's the plot of Chicken Run 2? Oh, it is much in the future where they're on an island full of chickens. She has a kid at this point. So you're telling me in Chicken Run 2, she ages? Wow, it almost sounds like you wrote a script that makes it totally appropriate for someone to have an aged up voice in your fucking stop motion chicken movie, bros. Like, what? Are you for real right now? Like you literally have a script that it makes sense for her to be aged up, and then you go, too old. Fuck it. And then apparently it comes out also that they didn't kick out Mel Gibson for being Mel Gibson. They kicked him out for also being too old, which is also bullshit, because why'd you... I mean, I don't care how you fired him, to be honest, but it's just like you guys... I know Aardman went through a huge management change in the last couple of years, and maybe that's the reason for it or something, but this is crap. Chicken Run, I don't know if you know this, and not everyone says Nightmare Before Christmas is the highest grossing stop motion film. Maybe it is because of re-releases and all the merch and all the money it's made from DVDs and stuff, but Chicken Run, in terms of first run release, is the highest grossing stop motion film of all time. So let's respect that and get the real team back together and not do this kind of crap, because she should be in Chicken Run 2. If you're going to cut Mel Gibson, fine, but if she's going to be a mom, and apparently she's not even going to be the main at least it wasn't that she wasn't hot enough. No, that's true. I guess that's it. Cheers to you. And it wouldn't be, because she's amazing. I just think this was just a really shitty thing. I have been liking Aardman lately. This really turned me off of them, and I just don't understand why you wouldn't cast her in this. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense the reason they did that. Oh, I didn't know Curse the Were-Rabbit was the second. That's interesting. Thank you, Ryan. I just think it just really when you read the plot description, it pisses me off more because it was like, but it would make sense that she was age. Why did you ruin that? I don't understand. Anyway, it just yeah. All right, so thank you, Marley. Cheers to you, Marley. Also, you should check out Marley's podcast on Sub-Heroes. I really like it. I didn't think this was going to go this way. I thought everyone would be like, oh, Jim liked this lady from AbFab. I didn't say, fine, I like the chicken lady. I don't, whatever. So, Clone High. Clone High. Now I'm sweating because it's hot and everyone's going to, this is how I get canceled for liking the chicken. Alright, so Clone High is coming back. It was announced mostly because of Nintendo, that's how I saw it, that Clone High is coming back with Phil Lord and Chris Miller and all of the original writers. There's some debate over whether it's a reboot or a continuation. There doesn't seem to be much of an agreement on that. Maybe this is a hot take, but when was Aardman's last great outing? They made some great stuff in the past. Not so much, hey, Will! Okay, wow, a lot of super chats there. Well, very nice. Thank you, everybody. But first off, let me do these, and then we'll get to Clone High. More stuff. First off, Will. First off, Shaun the Sheep 2 was awesome. I really like Shaun the Sheep 2. Definitely in my top 5 of a year that doesn't have many movies. But I thought Shaun the Sheep 2 was really good. But that was a hot take. Anyway, cheers to you, Will. I guess. I don't know. Man, this is just, everybody's going to be making fun of me for Chicken Run all show. I can tell. Whatever. Clearly Jim's attracted to the female rat from Flushed Away. Was that her too? Look, my Flushed Away knowledge was flushed away after I watched that movie, because I hope no one who works with me or something turns this on and go, why did Jim just say something about a chicken lady and start laughing? This is weird. Choose to you, Ryan. Austin said, say what? Say what? Oh, I get it. Just Clone High. Okay. My mom's probably going to be like, so did you just laugh about like some chicken and you drank Red Bulls? Is this your life, my son? Hey, Jim, good to see you. Do you think they'll do the Gandhi was Gary Coleman the whole time thing? I secretly hope so. I was wondering that if they are going to do that. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. Sorry. Cheers to you, Flippy Dip Dip. Top 5 movie in a year with 7 movies. Yes, you're right, Nick. All right. Okay, well, I didn't see Early Man, but I've also had to see Shaun the Sheep 2 every week, all of quarantine, so, take that into consideration. Clone High, I don't know anything that's going to happen. It just seems to be that they're going to be making a Clone High series, as well as Beavis and Butthead is coming back. This is all kind of part of the same thing, that's why I'm talking about it. So, but we really don't know much about the Clone High reboot. Beavis and Butthead is coming back as well. Mike Judge signed a 2-season deal, which is pretty rich. This is kind of interesting because it seemed to have come out in the wave of when we got like a ton of reboots. They did this Beavis and Butthead thing. And I wouldn't think it would come back, much like Ren and Stimpy, but I don't think Ren and Stimpy's coming back for other reasons, and let's just walk away from that one. But, whoa, all that Red Bull and... anyway, I'm glad you're here. But Beavis and Butthead is also coming back. This kind of made people think that this was all for CBS All Access. Even Animat said that, and I actually very much agreed with what he said, by the way, when he said it. And then there was an article in Vulture basically talking about the re-innovation of Comedy Central. Now, the Viacom thing with CBS All Access is sort of a complex thing that no one's really been able to crack because they're not 100% clear. But basically, let's go into the timeline of this to sort of explain what Viacom is doing with these reboots, and it does actually make sense if you go through that. Originally, when CBS All Access was starting and every company was announcing a streaming service, Viacom said, we're still going to make things and have CBS All Access, but we're going to make things for other streaming services. Financially, by the way, that is a smarter way to go in the long term. Disney's losing a lot of money not giving money to Netflix. Basically, Viacom has said that they're going to continue to have CBS All Access, and some stuff will go on there, but for the most part, everything's going to go to different services and so forth. So, when we heard all these projects, everyone thought, and we heard about the Nickelodeon CBS All Access thing, we assumed, oh, Beavis and Butthead, Clone High, Jody, the Jody spinoff from Daria are all going to go to CBS All Access. That is not the case necessarily. They're going to sell all these off to various different streaming services, similar to what we saw with Rocco and Invader Zim last summer. And apparently they're going to continue to do that. It seems like only the Nickelodeon stuff is going to CBS All Access, but none of that has officially been confirmed. Thank you, Bruce Parker. And both... What? I'm confused. Anyway, I'll not look at the chat sometimes. But, sorry. Although I like interacting. Anyway, Arthur Christmas is good. Oh, you know what? I've never seen Arthur Christmas. Is this like a hot take on Aardman? Because Aardman's great. I know so many parents who just watch Aardman stuff with their kids. It's like, because it's just great for everybody. Okay. Ugh. Sweat and hair and everything and... okay. My hair is not working out today. Let's go like that. Alright. Ugh. Maybe I should comb it again later. Alright. Anyway. No, I saw that Clone High will be played in different places, but it sounds like what Viacom's doing is going to reestablish... what Viacom's doing is reestablish itself as a studio for other distribution houses and things like that. So they are able to kind of sell their stuff to all sorts of different places. So I don't think it is going to be CBS All Access, but they're sort of rallying the troops so they have good things to sell. So I think you'd see much of what they did with Rocco and Invader Zim, and they want to do that with their other properties. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jody and Beavis and Butthead go to separate places or something like that. I do need to get a haircut. It is too much. Maybe I should get one tomorrow. I don't know. There's haircuts but you got to walk in and, like most guys who are my age, I'm not going to shave my head and wear a hat for various reasons. I'm going to keep it going. Anyway, so there's going to be an animated, sorry, I'm sort of hitting last week news, but, there wasn't a ton of news this week. The animated... a new animated Ninja Turtles movie produced by and hopefully written by Seth Rogen. I'm going to say this, and I said this on Twitter. Animated Ninja Turtles is better than live-action Ninja Turtles. Most people, their memories of Ninja Turtles is because of the animated Ninja Turtles. I think that was why the phenomenon happened. It was that show. It wasn't Harry's everywhere. It wasn't the live action thing. I understand the live action Ninja Turtles was highly profitable and things like that. But I'm kind of like, we've done that enough, and I'd much rather have a cool animated action thing. And I really honestly like Ninja Turtles animated stuff, and I just think that's a better way to go. So I'm like so pro this. Not as sure about Seth Rogen, but even though also the American Pickle trailer came out, which sounds interesting, I'm not totally against Seth Rogen. I know he's done a lot more as a producer and things like that, but I think I think it could be cool. We don't know much about who's directing it, I don't think, or anything like that. But it sounds interesting to me. Also, there's going to be a rise. Yes, I mean, there's going to be. I don't know. I just think this will be cool. I'm excited for this movie. I saw TMNT. I think that's what it's called, the animated thing, in theaters, and we all got drunk and had a great time. It was cool. We yelled "Turtle Power" right when the movie hit and cracked open a beer. We didn't get kicked out because I don't know why. Movie theaters. Sorry, I needed some water. All right. So Charlie Kauffman said, "Oh man, I am a mess." Okay. Alright. Do I look okay? I can be vain sometimes. This is probably why I need... Anyway. Charlie Kauffman said a thing about that said Netflix didn't ruin movies, studios did. And I think I agree with what he was saying, because he's had films fall apart. He's probably one of... Oh, Tunjay's here. Okay, before I get into Charlie Kaufman stuff, Tunjay, isn't it sad Mission Hill was the worst performing TV show in 1999 and 2000, season directly behind Dilbert? Did I talk about the Mission Hill thing on a previous show? Anyway, if I didn't, cheers to you, Tunjay723. I think I did. It's sort of hard to remember. Jim, put on a hat. No, I don't want to put on a hat. Okay, wow, I'm already on the second one, but Jim put on... I don't want to put on a hat. I'm not gonna. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. Get Delgo Mongo to write and direct it. He thought the turtles were real. Oh, yeah! That would be cool. Cheers to you, Ryan. Cheers to you, Zane Powers. I forget if I talked about Mission Hill. Anyway, spill the tea. About what? About getting drunk and watching Ninja Turtles? That's all the tea. I like the idea of the Mission Hill spinoff, by the way. Oh, the Dilbert thing. Forgot. Okay, Dilbert. Here's the thing about Dilbert. That show was hugely too expensive for UPN. And it was going to get canceled because the budget was extremely high. They overpaid for it. Everyone in the industry knew that. And so the reason that show failed is because it cost way too fucking much. And they thought because Dilbert was such an industry, it was worth spending that much because it would be hugely profitable. When UPN didn't become this huge network, which, like, duh, it didn't work out. Dilbert probably should have gone to a bigger network. But UPN, like, paid more for it, and it didn't work out, basically. So Dilbert, when he talks about, that guy said, like, black people killed Dilbert because... I was like, dude, it wasn't that. It was because your budget was way too high. It was like, you weren't like, it's like they realized that direction was not going to work for them. So they went in a different direction. And it's honestly more because of him, they had to go in a different direction than it is anything else. Like, he's just an idiot. Anyway, I am like, fuck you hats. I can't wear most hats. They don't fit. I have a big head. Anyway, so Charlie Kaufman said studios ruined the movies, not Netflix, basically saying various projects he had that tried to get off the ground with major movie stars that didn't happen. And I agree with how he put it, because a lot of the more interesting stuff when he started making movies didn't get to be made, so it kind of makes you go, oh, well, maybe it is their fault. And I do agree with that. Like, studios don't make indie stuff. Like, you have to go in these different directions. So I think when people blame Netflix, like, they don't really understand. They're just sort of blaming it because they're blaming it for... It's sort of like at the Oscars where they always blame, like, superhero movies for ruining the industry. And I'm like, but you're the industry. Like, why don't you just not do that? Like, I don't understand. Like, it's because you like all the money. Like, admit that you're the problem. And that's basically what the industry has done. He was just pointing out, but his film is going to come out on, which is called I'm Thinking of Ending Things, which he claims every time is his last movie. I'm a huge fan of Charlie Kaufman. I love Schenectady, New York, and Anomalisa, which fucked me up pretty good. To be honest, I haven't watched it again since because it's just the whole thing. Just mentally, I was like, I can't deal with that every day. But they're really powerful, wonderful scripts. Everything he's done. Eternal Sunshine did the same thing to me. I was like in a daze for the rest of the night. But I love his films. I'm really excited for that on September 4th. All right, so Infinity Train Book 3 is coming to HBO Max. There seemed to be concern that we wouldn't get a Book 3. And to be honest, it's a weird cult show, and I can understand if it didn't get there. But we did get there. And so Book 3 is coming. Is basically about the group of kids who were who wanted their numbers to go up and not the kids who wanted their numbers to go down. I unfortunately forgot all of the kids' names, and I'm stupid. But it's about 3 of them who get separated for the main group. I kind of like the idea of each book goes in a radically different direction than the previous book. Because you really, to be honest with you, you could have every book be like, hey, I'm a kid and I like sports. Oh, I'm a kid and I like math. And that would have been the whole show and it would be boring. But instead, Owen Dennis comes up with these radical different things. I totally called a season 3 would be about Apex. That's true. I think you did. I remember. Anyway, cheers to you, Zane Powers, and being right. I like that group. I think it's kind of a cool idea, but I'm curious like what they'll continue to do with it. But I do like that you can never really get where this show is going to go each season. Like, you're never 100% sure what the deal is going to be with Infinity Train, which keeps it kind of refreshing in terms of, you know, I think as a fandom, because you're never sure what's going to happen. You never know where you're going to go with Infinity Train. And that's what I really liked about it. It's also like everything we'd read about that it was in trouble or something, maybe that wasn't as true. It seems to be, and there's another trailer I'm talking about later, a lot of what's going to go on with with Cartoon Network is more going to happen on HBO Max. I'm doing an HBO Max segment later. So, yeah. Oh, hey, Kappa. Good time to ask a random question. Jim, random question. What animated films are you looking forward to that are coming out this year and need something to be hyped for? Well, well, it's kind of a weird year to ask that question. I'll say that. I would say Soul, to me, is the number one. Animal Crackers is coming to Netflix. I don't know other projects coming to Netflix specifically, but yeah. I would say those are the two right now. There's not a ton other than that. Sorry. But I think Mank from David Fincher, which is not animated, sounds very promising to me, as well as the Charlie Kaufman film I just talked about. So maybe be excited for that. Those two. But cheers to you, Kappa. Thank you very much for the super chat. Did Connected get bumped? I put Connected on there if it happens this year. I'm sorry about the face mask things. I haven't gotten mine, but other people have, so I don't know what's going on with that. I noticed it's like stuck in shipping somewhere. I'm sorry about all that. All right, so 2, Batman Croods 2. Yeah, I don't think that's happening this year. The King of England, love your content, Jim. Oh my God, a super chat from King Ralph. Amazing. Oh my God, thank you, King Ralph. I love that you're here. Cheers to you. Cheers to you. I have something kind of King Ralphie coming out soon. That's all I'll say. So there's going to be a Gotham Police Department show from Terrence Winter, who wrote Boardwalk Empire, who's also a writer on Sopranos, I think. And Matt Reeves is going to take place in the Robert Pattinson Batman universe and is going to involve Jeffrey Wright. I think this is kind of... I don't know. It's interesting. It seems like every franchise is going to have, you know, a thing, especially with HBO Max, because they're also doing it with Dune, which I don't think is coming out this year, but, you know, they also have a show that's going to go to HBO Max. With this one, you know, it makes sense, but didn't we just have that show Gotham? Like, just, I don't know. But it could be interesting. Terrence Winter's a good writer. If you said there's a Terrence Winter showrunner show, I guess, and it stars Jeffrey Wright, I would still watch it. So I'm thinking of it that way, to be honest. I'll at least watch the first one. I'm excited for that. As well as it came out after Joel Schumacher died, which I think I talked about on the last movie wrap, that there's an extended cut of Batman Forever, which is longer and darker. However, several people on Twitter, and I think I retweeted it today, have said most of those scenes are actually on the DVD, just nobody really cared because it's Batman Forever. I would actually like to see what that cut is, to be honest with you. That sounds a little more interesting to me, because Batman Forever is sort of a weirder film. It's sort of a transition between the awfulness of Batman and Robin and the and the Tim Burton stuff. And I don't know. I would much rather watch Batman Forever than Batman and Robin, but it's sort of like a weird midpoint for that whole franchise. But I wouldn't be against that. I would be more into that than the Snyder Cut, frankly. So, Quibi. Let's get into Quibi. So, Quibi, we have a couple Quibi stories. So, Quibi, the 3-month or 90-day or whatever it was, free part of Quibi fell apart. Kevin James ASR live reaction went, I didn't get to see the latest Kevin James Black Seahawks on Winkle. I'm sorry, I should have. I don't really do live reactions because I watch things very like, it would just be like me not, it's all like internal, so it'd be like me just like going like this. Yeah. Like that's, you know, the people who react, I'm always like, man, how do you do that? Like, I'd want to just watch it. I don't want to, like, talk to, like, you know, like, or I guess they've watched it already, but then it's like you're not reacting. It's all like, it's like shitty Mystery Science Theater to me. I just don't understand, like, why. Anyway, I don't get, sorry. I will try to watch that. Thank you, Black Seahawks. Then you got what Jim doesn't get about live reactions. Where were we? Quibi. So Quibi, the thing ran out. I love that King Ralph is in the chat. This is ridiculous. Quibi, the thing ran out and they lost 90% of their viewership right away as soon as they asked for people to pay for Quibi. Apparently they have about 72,000 people who are paying for subs, which is pretty... I do like reacting to movies with Saber, but it's funnier when you're with someone, I think. And when you're not, it's annoying. Sorry. So Quibi completely fell off after this. They're very much in trouble. There was an article from Vulture this week talking about how Jeffrey Katzenberg had a certain reaction with Gal Gadot when she was trying to pitch something, and how she was like trying to motivate young girls and all this stuff. And then he goes like, oh, Nijikichu's here. Then he goes, well, let me finish this and I'll get to Will's thing. Then he gets to, she's talking about all this young girl stuff and how she wanted to make things to empower women, and then Jeffrey Katzenberg's like, well, what if you made like workout stuff and you're the new Jane Fonda? And Gal Gadot just like mouth dropped, like, what the fuck is this? And apparently all their frames of reference are very old and like not very online savvy. It sounds ridiculous, like they couldn't decide on how to... In the article it also tells you how to pronounce Quibi, which I found really interesting. Anyway, so Will said, spoilers, the scene with Bruce mimicking the giant bat is pretty great, just a shame it's in Batman Forever. A good movie was there somewhere. I've heard that from people before. Oh, damn it. Anyway, okay. Alright, so anyway, sorry. But yeah, so Quibi, Quibi is kind of, turning out to be a total, absolute, epic disaster. But it was announced their first cartoon, Your Daily Horoscope, which doesn't look good, at all. To be honest with you, it looks like pretty bad. It's just like people playing... Niji fun fact. And people playing various like people in a horoscope and playing those tropes. I thought it looked pretty terrible, to be honest with you. But I'm sort of interested to go back to Quibi to watch it, but not, like that interesting to actually watch it. Okay, here we go. Niji fun fact. Ultraman was going to have an American adaptation before Saban's Power Rangers, starring Adam West as one of the cast, but plans fell through. Oh. Man, I sort of like the idea of that. That sounds kind of cool. I like that. Oh man, I wish that had happened. That's an interesting fun fact. I sort of like, can you imagine if that had happened in the early 90s? That would be cool. Anyway, cheers to you. But yeah, Quibi is not turning... I mean, I think everyone knows Quibi's falling apart. It sounds like it's a total disaster. They've spent a lot of money, like, kind of showing themselves and how important they're going to be. But to be honest, like, it just sounds like when YouTube was paying people to make YouTube content, it doesn't sound like much better than that, to be honest with you. So, all right. Now we have, I guess, some more controversially thing. Well, let's talk about this, and then we'll move on to other things. There's going to be a follow-up to Young Love on HBO... there's going to be a sequel to Hair Love, on HBO Max from the creator Mark Cherry. It's going to follow the family... it's going to follow the family we saw in Hair Love. I didn't actually know their names, and in this... It tells their names in the article, which names I forgot. I don't know if Issa Rae will be in it. She's probably the only one who had a voice in Hair Love, I recall. But she does work in the Warner family, so it's possible. But actually, that sounds really cool. I really like Hair Love, but them like actually having conversations and not doing like total visual stuff, which I don't think they can do. The whole series or anything will be a much different feel, but I feel like he's kind of up to that challenge. So I'm very much excited for that. And I really liked Hair Love. I think there's the possibility there, but it's interesting to see like her mom is like an influencer, like how her dad is dealing with stuff, how the young girl is. I think that'll actually be really cool. I'm really excited for that. And HBO Max is like announcing a lot of cool animation stuff. I think Warner Animation is somebody who we will not be able to fuck with HBO Max. So, they've always had a really good animation, so I feel like they're really showing it off corporately better than they ever had before. But Hair Love was great, and I think Young Love will be pretty cool as well. So Halle Berry announced this, and I sort of want to talk about it because it brings up a lot, how she was going to be play a trans role in an unspecified project. She used the wrong pronouns, and everyone was pretty mad because people want trans actresses to play those roles, basically, that Halle Berry would play. This happened previously with Sony Animation co-producing. Thank you, Ryan, with Young Love. Yes, that makes sense. It was a Sony project. Oops. Anyway, but Halle Berry, where was I? Yes, she used the wrong pronouns, and yes, everyone said that a trans actress should have that role. The thing with this, and a lot of people said, well, you should let movie stars do this because otherwise these stories will not get told on that level. And I'm like, I sort of get financially what you're saying with this, but what I'm saying is why not have, I don't know if there's a show called Pose that got a lot of promotion and, won Emmys and all that stuff. Why don't you let like someone like India Moore or someone like that star in this with a movie star that could get people in? Like, why is this always, like, it seems to me everyone frames this as you either get ScarJo or you get nothing and shut the fuck up. And because no one who's a trans actress right now has the marketability to be in these movies. And I'm like, okay, that is true, but why don't we have, a movie star in it and a trans actress, and then we don't have this issue anymore because people are bringing up, oh, the people from Tangerine aren't big stars, this person is a big star. I'm like, that I'm agreeing with you, but let's change it in some way. Let's not just go, well, it doesn't work, so I'm not going to try, so that's it. And that just seems to be everybody's reasoning behind it. I just think, like, if Halle Berry had said, oh, no, you misunderstand, like, I'm going to have a trans actress, and I'm going to play her buddy, and, that's how we'll get the money into this movie, I'd be like, that is a positive change. But we need to stop this bullshit. Like, to me, it's like there's ways you could actually get this to work. You could say, I really want to tell a trans story. I don't want to play that character because that's disrespectful. No one really wants that anymore. And also, trans actresses don't make enough. Even the biggest ones don't make enough to actually have health care, which is a whole other issue. So I think, to be honest with you, like, let's just do what I was saying. It's like literally ScarJo and Halle Berry, you can be in those movies. You can help sell them. But let's promote these actresses and actors, trans actors, to be bigger stars so we don't have this issue anymore. It feels like we keep hitting this issue, and there's a really easy way to do it. Just like put India Moore in a movie with The Rock, and then she's, in every country, and then she's a star, and, all that stuff. But, like, we never do that, and then we just keep having this stupid thing. It's like a really easy situation. I don't understand. I just think, she didn't seem to understand the role. We don't really understand what the project is. People are throwing out numbers, but I don't think I don't really know what this role was. Doesn't matter. She didn't handle it right. So, there's going to be a Ready Player 2 book. There's been some discussion that there will be a sequel movie, and that, Cinderella is here, and that Spielberg would produce it or something. There's really no involvement, no real news on that, but there's going to be a Ready Player 2 book out in November. No one is sure any of what it's about. It's just that there's going to be one. I don't know if we really need another 80s thing, but hey, it's happening, so cool. So Tron 3. That came out this week, and I know I've been pretty against it, but here is why. But did you remember how good Ghost in the Shell's it? Cheers to you, Blocks. Yeah, exactly. Very true. Okay. So Tron 3. Here's the thing with this. The story that came out and broke Twitter or whatever was very much just a music executive at Disney saying he sort of talked to Daft Punk and talking about all the plans, which we had actually already, those were all public, by the way, before all this, and all the plans for Tron 3. Tron 3, here's the thing officially with Disney with Tron 3. They have no plans to make a Tron 3 right now, previously because they said they didn't have a release date available that was soon enough to where it would be, make any sort of sense to do it or like get the ball rolling on it, because they have too many, Marvel movies and Star Wars and stuff. They don't need a Tron 3 right now. You know what I'm saying? They don't. And if their reasoning previously was that they didn't have a date for Tron 3, I don't think now that I keep talking about release date changes almost every time I do one of these shows, that they're going to have a release date for Tron 3. The Jared Leto thing we've been hearing since Tron Legacy came out, and I think Joe Kosinski said previously that, it probably wasn't going to really happen. So I just don't want to shit on everyone's Tron 3 dreams. I think they should do something with that property for Disney Plus. I think it's really stupid they haven't. But the idea of a Tron 3 coming out in the immediate future is just laughable. I'm sorry. It's just not happening at all. It's really not. They're really not working on it. Marley, again, I would rather not have Tron 3 than have it with Jared Leto, and I love Tron. That's true. I don't think anyone really wants Jared Leto. And remember, he was in that just to promote like the idea of cheers to you, Marley. Thank you for watching the show. I just don't think it is going to happen at all. But I actually like the original Tron. I like looking at Tron Legacy. I don't like it that much as a movie, but I like the soundtrack and things like that. But Jared Leto, I think, is probably like a bad take, and it's been so long that you could probably make it without him. He's not as like in the early 2010s. It like made a little more sense, but like nobody likes him anymore. You don't need to put him in it. But I think they need to. Please. Tron Assumption isn't happening back in 2010. Ain't happening now. Would love to proven wrong though. I'm glad. I know Will's a big fan of Joe Kosinski, so I'm glad that he has good outlook on that. Cheers to you. But it's honestly more just because Disney has so much at this point. Like, go to the Disney store, see how many properties they have. They just don't have room for it. So I think they should maybe take the idea that they have of Tron 3 or whatever's been developed, make it into an animated thing, and I think it would work. Are you pro Jared Leto? No. No, Jared Leto sucks. Alright, so yeah. I think everyone's being very nice and generous today. And I'm running out of Red Bulls. Just have to drink water or something. Anyway, so I went too far. No. Oh, well, I know what it was going to be. All right, so Hamilton. Jared Harris. Did I say Jared Harris? I don't think I did. I am pro Jared Harris. Right? Is that the guy, Richard Harris's son, who's in Mad Men? So Hamilton, there's been this thing, is Hamilton eligible for the Oscars? It is not, because the Oscars are being especially weird, even though under their rules it would be, because it had a previous release date announced, because apparently film plays are not eligible. Here's my thing with that, is I think the Oscars totally do this dumb thing which they did, especially the year that was like Fahrenheit 9/11 and Passion of the Christ, which two are the most talked about films of the year. Were they nominated for anything? No. Should they have been? But my thing with that is, like, you kind of aren't part of the conversation of film of the year in that, and I think Hamilton was one of the biggest film releases of this year. So I think it was kind of a mistake to not make it eligible. Does Hamilton have enough fucking awards? Yes. And we don't need to... I don't sleep for a while, Marley. I don't sleep a lot. But I do at some point. Anyway, I don't want to talk about that. That'll make me sad. But Hamilton might be eligible for an Emmy because Disney Plus has been, and streaming services have been doing this loose thing where, like, Artemis Fowl is eligible for Emmys, right? Whereas Netflix movies, they go, oh, well, you're Oscar, but I think you suck, so you're Emmy, but you're kind of good. I think we could win here, so we'll see where Hamilton lines up. I think the Golden Globes will actually be the deciding factor on that. And Disney Plus could then decide, since the Oscars are like, you're ineligible, they could be like, yo, Emmys, wouldn't you like to give Hamilton something? And they probably will. So Maurice Sendak's estate has signed a deal with Apple. Apple Plus seems to be wanting to develop kids programming. I know they're doing stuff with Cartoon Saloon. They seem to have a similar deal that Netflix has with Aardman, in that they're not signing a deal, but basically buying up every project imaginable. And it's pretty much like they have a deal, but they don't. But I like that idea because I like a lot of the Maurice Sendak books. They're kind of weirder and stranger. I hope they just don't make a Where the Wild Things Are thing. I hope they do a little bit more than that. Holy shit, 125 pesos from the Philippines. Not that anyone cares, but I sent an audition tape for Wade Williams in Spielberg's Ready Player One movie back in 2016 for fun because I read the book. Oh, cool, and Blood Tea. Did you get anywhere? Could you link to that? Is that on YouTube? Do you want to link to that? If you don't want to, you don't have to. Imagine this: Andrew Lloyd Webber's podcast. I like that. Cheers to you, Blood Tea, and cheers to you, Ryan. There's also a reason I do sugar-free Red Bull. So some movie theater things. One, Walmart is going to do pop-up parking lot drive-ins. There's no announcement on what movies they're going to do, but they're going to do it in, I think, like 160 locations because drive-ins have been so successful. I'd imagine because they're Walmart, it is just going to be The Blind Side and Paul Blart Mall Cop 2. That wasn't a diss, but it sort of was. But that was for you, Black Jackson. I guess. So movie theaters the movie theater chains are going to be suing New Jersey because New Jersey allowed churches to open and not movie theaters. Everyone who's talked about this story is going to say, hey, both of those shouldn't be open. I don't give a shit. But I agree that, I do think churches often get the benefit of the doubt. And if you're going to consider, and I know a lot of businesses have said this, why do you allow liquor stores, but you don't allow me, kind of things. I sort of get that argument. And I'm even though I don't think anyone should open, I sort of am glad someone has sued a government to say, hey, don't classify things like that. I'm taking this lawsuit as that. But I don't think either should be open. There's an article in Hollywood Reporter. You don't need to read it because the part that's interesting, I'm basically going to sum up here. And apparently it was edited after I first read it, and it was like a paragraph. But it's basically about how, I don't know if you knew this, but summer movie season, studios make a lot of money off that and shit. And then they can't because there's this coronavirus. And so basically what happened is Christopher Nolan... in a meeting in June with Warner Brothers, they wanted to push this back really far. They wanted to push this back as far as they possibly could. And he said, no, he wants to be the first big movie out. It's not about the money. It's about it preserving the theatrical experience, which Warner Brothers didn't like because they spent $200 million on his weird, whiny, witter little, spy movies. So I think they're just cool, bro. So apparently there is this fight, and he really wants to preserve it, as well as apparently he doesn't like chairs on his movie sets, which is a thing. You can tell it's slow movie news when we're talking about chairs on Christopher Nolan movies. So I have two, but anyway, it sounds like I have other, I think I'll talk about other movie release dates, and then I'll go back. Anyway, you don't need to know what's on my Google Doc. But it's interesting that Chris Nolan is being so weird about this, but I think, and he is also losing money, but I think he is almost damaging his relationship to Warner Brothers. I would not be surprised if they part ways after this, because this is they're really screwing things up about this. I really, because they apparently had projection from him in June saying if you move to this date, you'll make this amount of money based on our projections at this time and all this stuff. And he still is no, I don't care. And he does make, money off the box office and things of that nature, but I think it's foolish what he's doing at this point. I wish he'd just move it off, and who cares if Mulan is the first one? Does it matter? Doesn't matter. So in other theater news, we found out Halloween need some water. Halloween Kills is going to be delayed. That was a gross way to drink water. Found out Halloween Kills is being delayed, and we got a teaser for Halloween Kills. If you're wondering how do they make another sequel to Halloween, it's basically you see the three generations of women driving away in a pickup truck, and they're driving at the end of, this is the end of Halloween, and they burn the house. Again, I guess spoilers for Halloween, the third movie called that. Why isn't it called Halloween Revisions or something? But anyway, so you see, this is the teaser. You see them driving away in this pickup truck, which is the end of the movie, and you see the fire trucks going to the house to put out the fire, and Jamie Lee Curtis is like screaming at them, no, you'll save him, which presumably they did, because there's 2 more Halloween films. It's not totally unexpected, and if you had asked me what was going to happen with Halloween Kills, I probably would have pushed this scenario, because Halloween Ends was going to come out on October 15th, 2021, but now Halloween Kills is coming out October 15th, 2021. There was some previous reporting it just been pushed to October 2021 and not a date, because there was a statement from John Carpenter and David Gordon Green about it, as well as with the teaser. But that is the date. It makes the most sense. Halloween Ends has been moved to October 14th, 2022. The date that is this October, of October 16th, 2020, is where Candyman is at this point. So that's Blumhouse news there. And then the Forever Purge, the next movie in the Purge films. I like the Purge movies. Check out the second Purge. It's the best one, followed by the third, fourth, and the first one is the worst one. So you don't need to watch the first one if you want to get into the Purge. Start with 2. Anyway, the Forever Purge is going to come out on July 9th, 2021, which is about the time all the Purge movies come out. Yeah, so Blumhouse just moved all their dates around. We didn't have a new Purge date till recently. I'm trying to get through a bunch because we still, I think, how many things do we have here? Do I have a lot of things? Probably not that many things. Okay, so, we do have a few things. Ryan Gosling's Wolfman has a director attached, Lee Winnell. Apparently what we had previously heard about this project might not be true, because basically they moved whatever the idea of Nightcrawler with the Wolfman idea might be changed, because Lee Winnell wants to do things with the script. Blumhouse is now involved because they have a first look deal with Lee Winnell, who previously did The Invisible Man. It sounds like this might change, but everyone knew Blumhouse was getting involved, because previously Blumhouse was like, we're not getting involved in Wolfman. Oh, it's Jason Blum's wife who wrote this? No, we don't know anything about this, said actual Jason Blum. They seem to have changed their mind on that, and now they are involved. It sounds more like a studio safe kind of director. I can't imagine them changing ideas with it. Apparently when Lee Winnell got involved, they wanted to do that. We'll see what changes in this project. It might not be the Nightcrawler thing that we had originally envisioned, which totally sucks if that's true. But hey, maybe it'll work out. Maybe that's a better take. Who knows? But this film that everyone was like, why is this not Blumhouse, is now Blumhouse. So cool. There were 2 trailers I want to talk about. One was the one and only Ivan. This is a film that is coming to Disney Plus. It was previously a Fox film. It's about a kind of guerrilla type person, and you hear his thoughts and stuff. And Bryan Cranston is in it. It doesn't look that great. It looks about Artemis Fowl quality, but it is going to be on Disney Plus in late August, and we finally got a trailer for that, as well as we got a trailer for Tig and Seek, which was originally developed for Cartoon Network and is then going to HBO Max. That actually looks kind of cool to me. It's like a kid in a detective agency. I think I talked about it a long time ago, but I actually thought it looked pretty cool. So there was an article written about a woman who worked in IT for Pixar and her experiences there, especially like giving birth, not giving birth at Pixar, blah. Okay, I think we have... Okay, I think we're okay. Anyway, basically talked about the discrimination she saw with Pixar, working at Pixar, and all the problems with it. My, going everywhere from like, racism, someone getting mad at her for calling them sexist because they would make remarks on women's physical appearance, as well as talking about like his sexual experiences with them. So, this is a good article. I think, she did not work in the creative side. This was more the IT side. But I can tell you parental leave is actually very important, and the fact that her white colleague who... it's her white colleague whose husband also worked there was far more, I'd say, far more supported by the company. We've heard these comments before about Pixar. We've never heard it about people who work more of the IT side of it and learning about coding and things like that, and how stress was getting to her and how they would handle certain very like big news situations, which was very offensive to her, and rightly so. It just doesn't sound like it's a great company to work at in general, although it seemed like a dream company before, if you had asked me. And anything I'd read, it seems like that veneer is coming off. She did stay anonymous in that piece. I support her completely. And I think if they were going to fuck with someone on parental leave, which, by the way, if you're going to mess with someone... oh, okay. It was never Fox? I always heard it was Fox. I don't know why I heard that. I'm sorry, Ryan. But anyway, it just sounds like Pixar has kind of been a toxic workplace for a long time, and through and through, and it sounds like a lot of very proud kind of white guys who don't want to listen to criticism. And, you know, also, if you're going to ruin someone who, you know, they just had a kid, they're not getting a lot of sleep, and you're asking them to take more courses and stuff like that, where you're having other colleagues be able to take part-time and ease back into life, you're a shitty company and you're a shitty person, and like, seriously, fuck you. Like, just like when I read some of the stuff she was going through as a parent, I was like, that I would never want to work there at all, or work with that company. And I just don't agree with stuff like that, because it's that first kind of 6 months to a year is really hard, and if you're gonna mess with someone at that time, you're a terrible person, especially if you know what they're going through. So fuck them. All right, anyway, sorry. So there's going to be, I want to talk about this because I grew up one project no one's talking about is there's this film called Man and Witch. I'm not sure if I have the right title for it, and Ryan's probably going to correct me in the chat, and he should, but there's going to be a heartwarming homage to lo-fi fantasy films of the 80s. It's a comic adventure that both fulfills and subverts expectations of what a fantasy universe can be. The Jim Henson Creature Shop is making the puppets, and it's going to star Sean Astin, Christopher Lloyd, Rhea Perlman, as well as the princess from The Neverending Story. I thought it was called Man and Witch. Man and Witch? Why do I have Man and Witch? I don't understand. Anyway, it sounds actually like a cool project considering the cast, and you're going to have Jim Henson Creature Shop making puppets for it. I thought actually sounded really cool. I'm just going to post the article. It says Man Witch or something? Oh man, I'd like a sandwich. Man and Witch, I guess. Anyway, Man and Witch, yes. Okay, that's not a great title, but I would like a sandwich. This is a thing that I do. Sorry. That's the article. Please read it. It sounds actually like a cool project. We don't know very much about it, but that sounds like something like if you put that on Netflix, it would be #1 on Netflix or whatever. That's another you know what? The top 10 on Netflix, I notice everyone's taking it very seriously all of a sudden. I was like, we don't actually get the numbers of that. They could just make those up. It's like interesting that suddenly like a big thing on its first week of release, it's #1, and things just like leave, and then newer stuff goes up there right away. It's almost like you're not using real viewing habits, you're just making crap up to influence those viewing habits for your top 10. But I don't know, because I'm not able to look at those numbers. Neither is anyone else. They're going to reboot the Wonder Years, but with a black family, and going to be brought to you from Lee Daniels, who directed Precious and the Butler. No, whatever, he's done stuff. It sounds actually like a cool idea. A lot of people said, why don't you just make another show and not call it The Wonder Years? Thus is the IP world we live in. I was a big fan of The Wonder Years. I think it's a good idea to do with the concept. I would actually say it would be interesting to see Kevin Arnold's kid and maybe see like that reality as a Wonder Years reboot. I think would probably also be a good idea, but I'm fine with this. This idea sounds cool to me. I will probably watch the first episode. I think they should make the older Wonder Years more available, because I think that would be so they can help people understand it more. So, Churns Laflo, everybody hates Chris. I agree. Oh, it's not called... Yeah, you're right. I mean, Lee Daniels, the only movie I really liked of his was Precious, but I heard that other one was good, and I never saw it with like Nicole Kidman and Zac Efron. And two things. Zendaya shot a movie called Malcolm and Maria. It was a secret film, and they go into all the various coronavirus things. It's starring Zendaya and John David Washington from Tenet, and who's Denzel's kid as well. And it's kind of a marriage story type scenario. They went through all these coronavirus kind of very rigorous rules to get this film made, because they were making Euphoria and that fell apart, and they wanted to do something. And so they did, and they made it in this thing called the Caterpillar House, which I don't understand why it's called that, but it looked really cool. It sounds like a cool movie. We do not know what the distributor is. They just sort of announced it this week. But it actually sounds kind of cool. I like the idea of Zendaya and John David Washington. I think they're both very promising young actors. I like Zendaya a lot. I also heard today that Vivica A. Fox wants her to play her daughter in Kill Bill 3, but we have no movement on that, so whatever. But anyway, I think... that secret coronavirus movie, I like Euphoria to a certain extent, and it sounds actually cool. We literally know nothing about it other than they found a great way to come around to make this type of film. And then finally, and this is the last thing, and then we'll talk about Carl Reiner, is Josh Cooley. It keeps picking up projects, the director of Toy Story 4. It feels like a lot of people are leaving Pixar, and after the previous story, I can't imagine why. But he's going to be making a film called The Little Monsters. It sounds like it's going to use the Universal monsters and present them to kids. So like Hotel Transylvania, but not directed by Gendy. So... cool? Anyway, I mean, that's... I do find it interesting Josh Cooley is picking up projects like crazy for other studios, particularly Universal. And I think didn't he have a Transformers thing you signed? Man, he is like, he wants out at Pixar, let me tell you. All right, so before I take a break and come back and do various different things, I'm sure other people, the main death that I kept thinking about was the death of Carl Reiner. Carl Reiner, I think there's some comedy legends who keep coming back who I don't think I've thought of a more welcome presence in the world of comedy than Carl Reiner. From directing The Jerk with Steve Martin to creating the Dick Van Dyke Show, which was actually more based on him. It is really the Carl Reiner Show, just starring Dick Van Dyke. I love the Dick Van Dyke Show. It actually holds up really well. He's the father of Rob Reiner as well, but he was a great film director. He was a great comedian. He was hilarious. Him and Mel Brooks had a lifelong friendship, and I feel terrible for Mel Brooks. But this one hit me hard because I kept learning about how cool he was as I got older, and it just never seemed to stop with him. And I will say The Jerk is one of the greatest comedies of all time. Dick Van Dyke is one of the greatest comedy series of all time, and not a lot of people can say that they were part of all of them, as well as the Sid Caesar Show of Shows, which had an amazing writing stuff. Carl Reiner is one of the best who ever lived, and he was in Toy Story 4. And that Forky short, was that his last kind of thing we all remember him for? Just amazing. So I very much miss Carl Reiner, as well as Errico Morricone. Thank you, Kyle Garrison. That is in here. He was a musical legend. I think anytime he did a score, he gave an epicness to it that kind of made it feel almost more prominent and even more cinematic than maybe it demanded, but he demanded it through his music. He recently finally won an Oscar for The Hateful Eight, which was part unused score from The Thing, which he worked with John Carpenter on, one of the few scores John Carpenter didn't do. But if you're not going to do a score, and you normally do a score, he was the best one to do it. That was a huge loss. I almost saw him live and I didn't, and I guess I'll regret that for forever now. But he just, all his spaghetti western stuff, see the Sergio Leone films, they knew each other since little kids, but everything he did for film scores, he is one of the greats. He should have as many Oscar nominations and Oscars as John Williams, probably more, but he was just absolutely amazing and will forever miss them. So, all right, I am going to take a quick break, then we will get to the segments, and I'll talk about a Godzilla thing before that, and then do Garbage Pail Kids. I'm 6 today, and then HBO Max Recommendations with Rachel Reviews and this other guy who I don't know as well. But we'll do HBO Max Recommendations and then questions. So I will be right back, and I will see you shortly. Okay, cool. Behave yourselves. But oh, there's a thing here. Oh, okay. Hello, everyone. Fuck Mel Gibson. Jim's gone. Tiny Pan looks depressed. He does? I don't think so. Yes. Where are we? But I'm glad to be here, by the way. It's really cool to be here another Saturday night with you guys. Okay, so yes. The most anticipated point in any movie crap, the bathroom break. Did you talk about Muppets Now? I thought I did previously. I definitely did another show. I thought I did. Anyway, did I thought I did do that also. This is the Peppa Pig. You see it? Sophie left this in here. I almost fell on it. It's Peppa Pig. It's a Peppa Pig ball she has. Kids love Peppa Pig. I don't think that's ever going to go away. I think Peppa's part of childhood now. Alright. So, sorry, just checking the phone there. So, before we get into, we have a bunch of good segments today. Do a sick backflip? No. Alright, so before we get into the main segments, I try to tweet about these and I try to put them up, what cartoons I'm going to review or talk about, either on the Discord the night before and on Twitter after I've announced, like, tonight on Movie Crap sort of thing, so if you ever want to watch these. But before we get to that, there's a great short called Godzilla, or Coming Out, a Godzilla kind of stop-motion film about coming out as a trans kid. It was made by Cressa Beer, who I've seen her stuff before. Actually, my wife knows her, and we've never met, actually. But I've watched her stuff for years now, actually, and I didn't realize it was her until today, because I'm stupid. And I really like this. I really like this show. Oh, whoa! Okay, well, you picked at a weird time. Let me finish. Anyway, thank you very much, Saber. Oh, man. But you should check out Godzilla, the Coming Out thing. It's really great. Austin kept asking me to talk about that. And I have, and I necessarily, other than, I think it's a really great short. I showed it to Sophie, and she more just wanted a baby Godzilla toy. So I think it's really great, so you should check that out. All right, so Saber, there we go. Hold on. Before I read this. Thank you very much, Saber. Very generous. Hey, Jim, a couple of questions for you. Do you like to talk about tomatoes? Can a squash make you smile? Do you like to walk with potatoes up and down the produce aisle? Is this a reference? Is this a reference? Okay. Cheers to you, sir. Do you like to talk to tomato? I mean, if it's a nice tomato, I'll be like, you're pretty good. I like to encourage tomatoes. I don't like to not be encouraging in general. Can a squash make you smile? No. I don't, I have stances on squashes, and I really wish you wouldn't make that public, because that's how I'm going to get canceled, is my stances on squash. It's just, anyway, do you like to waltz with potatoes up and down? All the time. No, I like potatoes. I don't think I'm that passionate about potatoes, but pretty passionate about potatoes. Is that? I feel like that's. Is everybody? Don't tell Saber about the chicken. I definitely. Bruh, I never watched Veggie. I don't know if this is a VeggieTales joke. I don't know enough about VeggieTales. Oh. But watch our video coming soon. Anyway. I'm actually excited. I think that's going to be a great video. All right. I hope I answer that. Man, every time Saber comes on, Saber Sparks, thank you very much. You're awesome. I'm pretty good at cutting potatoes. You're right. I hope. Anyway. I don't know what that was, but it made me laugh. All right. It's from the theme song. Of course I didn't get it. Of course. I actually watched it before we were writing it, but that was a little bit ago. We've been working on this thing for a while. You didn't watch the show. I did watch it, Ryan, other writer on the thing, but it's been a bit. All right. I feel like everyone's messing with me tonight, but I kind of like it. It's cool. All right, so look, I didn't grow up with the VeggieTales. I didn't go to Sunday school. I was a heathen. I just don't. All right, moving on. We got segments. I got to go to bed at some point. Jim is a fake. I mean, I'm not a VeggieTales fan, so all right. Because I did every CBS Saturday morning show ever, I of course then do a review of something CBS Saturday morning show related. And I think probably one of the more infamous ones that isn't something I already reviewed, which would have been Mighty Mouse and the New Adventures, is the Garbage Pail Kids cartoon show, which, if you notice, I didn't mention in there. Probably because it never aired. There's some people that say the pilot aired, which is actually what I'm reviewing today, but it didn't. It didn't, because parents groups got upset. Garbage Pail Kids were going on for a while, and as I was a kid, I remember parents did not like Garbage Pail Kids. They didn't like how gross it was. I've actually read they didn't like because it was discriminating against like people with disabilities and handicaps. I actually couldn't find out what the card was of that. If anyone in the chat or if watching this later knows, please let me know in the comments. I actually couldn't find that anywhere. What the card specifically was. I do actually like the designs of the cards. People like Art Spiegelman and people who drew for Mad Magazine did actually really great Garbage Pail Kids cards. There's one referencing Vincent Van Gogh and Salvador Dali, and I think people should respect the Garbage Pail Kids cards a lot better. But the media they made of Garbage Pail Kids was essentially and actually fucking terrible. The movie came out right before this in 1987, and the cartoon show was supposed to kind of present the new media empire of Garbage Pail Kids. But since this got banned and the Garbage Pail Kids movie was awful, that never happened. Now, this cartoon, interestingly enough, starts with someone going like, this is terrible and gross, and interrupting it, trying to stop the Garbage Pail Kids show from happening, which is actually funny and is probably as funny as this ever got. The interesting thing about this is, I mean, the animation is so bad, a lot of their jokes don't work, which were visual jokes. They tried to do a Star Wars parody and didn't actually do the text right, which is oof, guys. And what's weird is, so the concept of the Garbage Pail Kids cartoon is that these normal looking kids transform into gross Garbage Pail Kid card type of people, and then they go on and do gross adventures and stuff. That's the concept. But the first cartoon of the first episode is this weird parody where aliens invade this land and then they throw garbage on them and stuff, and it has nothing to do with what this show's about. If you didn't know this, when you have a first episode, you're supposed to introduce the characters and the concept of the show, and then they waste like upwards of over 10 minutes on this other thing, and I was like, is this what this show is? Like, what's going on right now? I don't understand, like, why you would make this cartoon and start it off this way, or these are just weird tangents. It just, like, doesn't really play very well. And then they get to the original concept, which is like, that is actually worse. It's really boring. It's not animated well. I didn't really like it very much. I just think I just don't think it worked at all. And the funny thing is like the other controversy that CBS Saturday Morning had a few controversies in the late 80s, early 90s. First it was this, which didn't actually air. They ended up actually airing another half hour of Muppet Babies. They ended up having like an hour and a half of Muppet Babies because the Little Muppet Monsters also got canceled, I think, around this time. And the following year, they had the Mighty Mouse and the New Adventures controversy, which I've talked about in like 2 separate videos. But you can check out my review of that, and as well as my 1988 The Year Animation Broke series. I talked about that as well. But they basically like took a very quick part and said Mighty Mouse was doing cocaine on TV. He wasn't, during that Ralph Bakshi series, and then the Pee-wee's Playhouse thing, which I don't need to go into. But if you're going to make a Garbage Pail Kids cartoon, the thing with this is like, it's not funny. The concept of turning kids into Garbage Pail Kids is lame. The problem with Garbage Pail Kids, if making it into a cartoon, is that there's no like Garbage Pail Kids main character. There's like the atom bomb kid with the head exploding. There's various like cards that were more iconic, but it's not like you have an Optimus Prime, or you don't have a main character. You don't have a Captain America to lead it. So it really just doesn't really work in terms of making a cartoon show out of. It's actually very hard to do something like that. I think if you're going to do it, if you actually had Ralph Bakshi and the crew who did Mighty Mouse and the New Adventures, they could have made it work because they're weird enough to make that sort of concept work. But I think you'd have to make it more like his. You'd have to make it like more of his like weird pilots or Cool World or something. But then I don't think it would have worked either. It probably would have just been more interesting to watch and to talk about. I think this cartoon is really bad. It's not bad in the way that's like funny, but it's more just surprising that the Garbage Pail Kids, I think the media they made is really awful, but the cards were actually cool and good and and I really enjoy those cards. It's just unfortunately that they're kind of bad media that they made in '87, which is going to be their big year to push out to make stuff, didn't end up really helping them, transcend that. They made crappy media. They probably shouldn't have made a cartoon show or anything like that. They should have probably stuck with trading cards, which was a parody of the Cabbage Patch Kids. And the Cabbage Patch Kids thing ended eventually anyway because they went too far as well. So it's sort of unfortunate. I wish people would just look at the cards and remember them for that and forget about this crap, because this cartoon is not memorable and is not really worth being preserved. It is weird they made an entire season that aired pretty much in every country that wasn't America because they didn't mind gross little trading cards for kids. But apparently in America, we do. And unfortunately, they didn't get... This cartoon never got to air on CBS Saturday morning because it didn't rock on that CBS. All right. Do Garbage Pail Kids represent the Pepsi generation? That's funny. Cheers to you. All right. It sucks when media's boring. You're right. It does. So, all right. I'm going to do a quick review. If you didn't know, I wanted to do kind of a series on various different animators who make shorts, and one that I wanted to talk about for a little bit, and I'll probably have segments once or twice a month, is the animator Jim Simon. I previously talked about his short I Can Remember, which is iconic on Sesame Street, which is iconic. Oh, God. It is hot in the city. I should maybe turn the AC on between, maybe like turn the mic. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I'll do that next time to like preserve my coolness. That was a quote from the movie? What? I missed that. Anyway, oh, that was a quote from the movie? It is? See, I didn't see that movie. Anyway, so, but Jim Simon was a great animator who made a lot of great stuff for Sesame Street, as well as the I Can Remember short, which I had previously reviewed. Today I'm going to talk about is I'm 6 years old today, or I'm 6 today. It's a very quick short, and this will be a very quick review. But basically what it is there's a lot of Sesame Street shorts that go into counting. We actually watched a vintage collection that the Sesame Street YouTube channel did today, and they're all like really great, including the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Like, that cartoon is amazing. But this, well, I can't have a fan in there. But this short, I think, is different from just the counting. They usually have unique spins on it and stuff like that. But what I like about this is this has an emotion and a character to it, because it's this little girl. She wakes up. She's 6 years old. She like screams like "yay!" and it's like reminds you of being a little kid and having a birthday. And you're so excited. You get cake. You see all your friends. You get presents. She jumps off her bed. It kind of like falls and descends. You see all these sixes, and she's screaming "yay!" and then it counts to 6. It's a simple sort of quick thing, but it has a nice little character and nice little arc to it. And what I like about Jim Simon's stuff when it comes to Sesame Street is it had like this certain like kind of character and sketchy character design that I always thought like gave it like such an interesting life to it. And this also kind of gives you a quick little I'm 6 today, and this was linked in my Twitter if you want to check it out. Just gives you kind of that quick emotion of being a kid and on your birthday, and how exciting it was that this is your birthday. It's a holiday. It's your birthday. It's not like being an adult and you're like, maybe we'll get takeout tonight and then I'll fall asleep watching Jaws. That's my birthday. It's not a joke. It's like the excitingness, like you woke up. It is your birthday. You're going to have a party. You're going to maybe have pizza. It's like you're going to have a cake. This is the excitement. And just that little girl jumping out of her bed and seeing those sixes puts this as like kind of a higher level than just these average kind of counting cartoons, which are all actually great in their own right. But I just love the kind of the energy and the personality that he put into I'm Six Today, I thought was absolutely excellent. And I really actually like this short, and just another great short from Jim Simon. All right. It sort of is like rougher, more interesting Peanuts, I think. But, all right. Oh, congratulations, Black Saxon Michael. Enjoy your calzone. So, now we're going to get to the HBO Max recommendations part of the show. Sorry if I'm moving fast. It's getting late, and I'm sweating a lot, and yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Hold on. Okay. Alright, sorry about that. This is gross. Okay, so HBO Max. What to watch on HBO Max? Calzones are pretty good. So HBO Max is kind of an interesting development because most people who use it actually really like it. And I have to say I really like it as well as a streaming service. In terms of how to watch it on your TV, it's been incredibly frustrating. It's not available on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick, which, as I've said before, is 2/3 of the streaming market, as well as the fact that when I tried to use an Apple TV, we have an older Apple TV, to kind of AirPlay it to the TV, it wouldn't let me. And I was like, so are you guys just like against me ever watching it on the TV? It's frustrating. So Sophie watched Scoob actually on Friday, and she had to watch it on the iPad instead of the TV because she really, really wanted to rewatch Scoob. I just wish this service was more available. I wish they'd work out whatever dumb shit they have going on with Roku and Amazon and let this be available because it's just, to be honest, very frustrating at this point. But as terms of if they ever get over that, this actually has a lot of cool stuff. I will recommend Close Enough. I've only seen that one episode. I think it is really great. I know that's why most of you are really checking out HBO Max, which is why I did this re-recommendation sort of selection, because I thought it'd be a cool one to really go into, or because I wanted you to give you a reason to explore the service other than just Close Enough. I did recommend Regular Show last time in the Regular Show movie. I will do that again. They're both worth checking out, especially when you're kind of re-getting into J.G. Quintel stuff, and it's all there. Hold on, sorry. Oh boy. Okay. As well as they have Scoob. If you miss Scoob and you want to watch it, is it a good movie? Not really. I know little kids love it, actually. But it is there for free, so if you kind of wanted to see what was up with Scoob and you didn't want to spend the money or torrent it or something like that, you can watch it on HBO Max. It is free. Apparently it is their #1 trending movie, according to their analytics that they don't release to anyone. And but there's more on HBO Max. I tried to go to various different sections, but obviously I'm going to recommend you a lot of Turner Classic Movies, and I think I actually have some good ones this time. First is Mildred Pierce, which is a great Joan Crawford movie. It's directed by the guy who directed Victor Fleming. Is it Victor Fleming? No. Michael Curtiz. Apologies. Michael Curtiz, who directed Casablanca. It is really well shot and really good. It is more of what was considered a woman's picture at the time, but it is excellently shot. It's got some noir elements. I love Mildred Pierce. I watched it a lot of times. It is great. I know the HBO series is good, but the Joan Crawford movie is excellent. You should definitely see that. If you've never seen Bonnie and Clyde, now is your time. It is one of the great classics of film history and probably one of the big watershed moments in American film, as well as it's really fucking good. Definitely, deserves to be on any top 50 films of all time list. It's probably why you care about Warren Beatty. It is awesome. You should absolutely see it. It definitely helped kick off New Hollywood it kick off the New Hollywood 70s thing. We also have I Shot Jesse James, a Sam Fuller film. They seem to have a bit of Sam Fuller. It introduces more of a homoerotic version of the Jesse James myth. You probably saw that in the assassination of Jesse James by the coward Robert Ford. This is a lot shorter. It's a lot more succinct, but I think it definitely has some interesting, beautiful elements to this tale, which I think that story definitely used, but Sam Fuller did very well. And the homoeroticism is interesting. As well as they have House. If you've never seen House, the cult film, TCM has a lot of great cult films on there, so I will recommend House if you've never seen it. It's a wonderful Japanese horror film. In Crunchyroll, Crunchyroll doesn't have a great selection. I noticed the animation things they need to beef up. If they ever do, that would be wonderful, but they have Kill la Kill. I love Kill la Kill. I think that's a wonderful cartoon. After I was watching some Studio Trigger stuff, I was kind of reminded how much I love Kill la Kill. In my previous one, I just said Ghibli stuff, but in here, I actually have an actual recommendation, which is Ocean Waves, which has not been that available. I actually sort of like Ocean Waves, even though it is very much a lesser Ghibli, it is still really good. And then finally, a film on HBO, the HBO section of HBO Max, which, yes, is a real thing. The American, starring George Clooney, is a really cool action film that no one talks about, but I remember really liking. So if you've never seen The American, I would recommend that one as well. All right, so now I'm going to play a video, which I won't screw up, hopefully. And hopefully this will work. And you can watch Rachel reviews and damn it, what was his name? I'm sorry, I don't know him as well, and I apologize. He does have an interesting thing going on, and I'm gonna, this will be a part anyway. Now I feel bad because I think it's Ryan Cam. Is it Ryan Cam? Oh my god, it is very sweaty today. Let's look at who he... No, that was the wrong thing. Anyway, this is how you kill time in a bad way. I was right. Okay, Ryan Cam and Rachel Reviews, who do their own streaming service recommendation thing for hidden gems that they put out every Friday. They're going to recommend, I think it's about 6 different titles on HBO Max and their reasons for doing so. So why don't you check that out? Right? Hold on. Right? OBS. Oh, OBS. You're wonderful. This will all be cut out later. We did this thing. Anyway, you can check that out right now, and I'd like to thank them both for contributing to this and giving their own selection. So here we go.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Ryan.
And we are really excited to be here on Jim's channel. Thank you so much for giving us this chance to talk about HBO Max. Because what we do every week on Fridays on my channel, Rachel's Reviews, is we talk about hidden gems that are on all of these streaming services. We started it with this when the pandemic started and we were shut in when we had all these streaming services. What could we watch that was beyond just the biggest picks? So it's really, really fun. I love doing it. And so we're going to give you we're going to each give you 3 of our picks for HBO Max. So Ryan, why don't you get started with your 3 picks?
Great. So my 3 picks are fairly recent ones with one exception. It's 2 from the 2010s and 1 from the 1980s. So I tried to get a good variety in there. The first is a documentary called Andre the Giant. It is about the life of Andre the Giant, his time as a professional wrestler, his time as an actor, and everything in between. It has a lot of great interviews with people that had the pleasure of knowing him, including Rob Reiner, Billy Crystal, also Vince McMahon, who was the prime motor for him in the wrestling world. It's just a really, really great documentary, and it's one of the better documentaries on the entire service. Next up is Commando, starring the Arnold Schwarzenegger, and the future governor of California. That's such a fun sentence to say. This movie is dumb, but in all of the right ways, and the action is just so much fun. It's Arnold blowing up stuff and shooting things and dropping unsuspecting goons off of cliffs while he's saying, "I lied." It's so epic. So if you haven't seen it, what are you doing? Go check it out. And my last pick is a bit of a quieter movie. It's called The Big Year. It's about 3 guys who look out for birds, and they have this big contest where they all try to find and document the most birds in a calendar year. It may sound boring, but it's actually quite funny. It's heartfelt. Jack Black gives one of his best performances. Steve Martin is always cool. And Owen Wilson is great in this as well. So it's got a lot of heart, really funny. It's great for the whole family. And so those are my 3 picks.
Great picks. And if you're Hallmarky, there are a bunch of Hallmark actors in the big year. So if you enjoy that, you should check it out. It's got Cindy Busby and Paul Campbell and a bunch of other people that we know in the Hallmark world. So great picks. And so my 3 picks, they are movies that we don't get to talk about on our show because they're not hidden gems. They're the popular picks, but it's kind of fun for me to get a chance to shout them out. The first is the Looney Tunes cartoons. This was the new series that new originals that they did for Looney Tunes. And I just thought they were so well done. They were so funny. The animation is so impressive. And I did not like the last show that they did where they tried to make it a sitcom with the Looney Tunes. That was horrible. This, I love the music. I love the way the characters. To me, it was just a huge win. And so you should really enjoy it. I watched it with my niece. She loved it. So check out Looney Tunes cartoons. Then I have one of my favorite superhero movies is Superman the movie. Christopher Reeves is so great in the role. And especially, I think, once he gets to Metropolis, I think the movie is so fun. I really like the relationship between him and Lois Lane. And Margot Kidder is really fun. And it's my favorite Superman movie. Then finally is Spirited Away. Is one of the most stunning animated films ever made. Hayao Miyazaki, he won the Oscar for it. And it's a really great movie if you just want to be astonished at every turn. You can never know what is going to be coming up next, whether it's a giant baby or the dragon that's made out of paper, or all the different visuals never stop coming and are so beautiful. And so that's my 3 choices. Thank you so much to Jim for letting us be on your channel. We really appreciate it. And make sure y'all check out our show every Fridays on Rachel's Reviews. And you can find it on anywhere you listen to podcasts or on YouTube. And Ryan, where can people find you?
You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. You can find me at my YouTube channel, RyanCam Movie Reviews. I'm currently doing a series called The AFI Project, where I watch and review every single movie on AFI's top 100 movies of all time list. The episode for E.T. the Extraterrestrial just dropped yesterday, and the next movie I'll be talking about from that list is To Kill a Mockingbird. I've also got Nolan Month, where I talk about all the Christopher Nolan movies, so there's a lot of content coming your way. So now's as good a time as any to subscribe.
Yeah, so check it out. Check out Ryan's channel. Check out my channel. And thanks again to Jim. We really appreciate it. And enjoy HBO Max. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Hey, okay, we're back. All right, so thank you, Rachel. Check out Rachel's reviews, and Ryan Cam. Check out his channel as well. And check out their podcast Hidden Gems, which shows you hidden gems to watch on any streaming service, which is actually a pretty cool podcast. Help you find more stuff to watch during this pandemic, which people clearly need. Anyway, that's what we all recommended for you to watch on HBO Max. Go check out the service and try to use our recommendations to give you something to watch on this pretty cool streaming service that has unfortunately made itself very unavailable. Alright, so let's, sorry about the problems with the video there. I am still learning, apparently. So I'm going to do these 2 questions, and we're not going to do a ton of questions because I am running really late. But let's get to them. Sinram, 2 Patreon questions. Run from Sinram said, any favorite film soundtracks for you when you were a kid/teen? My soundtracks, I mean the Prince songs from Batman as opposed to Danny Elfman's score, for example. Mine, when I was a kid, I would say the Batman Forever soundtrack was a big deal, as well as the Romeo and Juliet soundtrack was a big deal. Beavis and Butthead's, the Beavis and Butthead Experience, which isn't really a soundtrack. I would say those 3 would be mine. Next one from Austin, actually, a Patreon question, a new patron. Thank you, Austin, who should be at the end of this video when you watch it later. Said, question for movie crap. Last weekend I watched Speed Racer and really enjoyed it, but when I told someone that they brought up how Emil Hirsch is a horrible person for assaulting someone at a festival, which was at the Sundance Film Festival, by the way. I wanted to know, how can you separate the art from the artist, or is art in the case film directly tied to who makes it. For example, could you now watch the original Mad Max film even though Mel Gibson is in it and a racist and anti-Semitic piece of garbage, even though George Miller is the creator, and you could watch it because you like his art? I do still watch stuff if people are problematic. I try not to promote them and bring up my issues with them if I do a review of it. I understand if people, like, no one really wants to watch The Cosby Show, for example. I think it is a hard thing. I've always maintained that most artists aren't necessarily, like, great people. You know, I've always found people to be problematic, or terrible in certain regard, but I understand some people are more terrible than others, and I think that you kind of sometimes have to, but I don't think that you should excuse them and make sure their legacy doesn't include the problems with them. I think you should acknowledge the problems while watching them, and sort of everyone is problematic in their own way, but I don't think you should, especially people who are like Emile Hirsch and Mel Gibson, who are very problematic. You should be able to watch it, but also, you know, when talking about it or when viewing them, understand that, you know, they're an actor, but in real life, that role is fine to a certain extent, but they're, you know, horrible people. I think you can separate the artist from the art from the artist while you're watching it, but I don't think you should fully promote them and act like they're a good person, even if you like them in one movie, because oftentimes they are not. You know, there's certain Roman Polanski films that everyone still likes and considers classics. Is he a horrible person? Absolutely. So there's, you know, you kind of just have to acknowledge that with what's going on. All right, so let's answer a few, and then I really should go. Ryan Walterson, thoughts on Walmart having drive-ins? I thought I did answer that. I thought I talked about that, Ryan. But I will say, I think it's interesting. I'm curious what they're going to play. I'm curious, actually, the technology they're going to use. But I think it could be cool for a lot of communities that don't have access to movie theaters, to be honest with you. So I actually just gave you things that we hadn't talked about. So I'm glad you asked me that question. Anyway, why do Milan actors keep being problematic from Same Powers? I don't know the context for that, but I don't know why. Austin, Ace the Wind Rider, do you have any instances of creators or people working on a show who threatened a studio or company to get rights or funding for their show? I'm not sure what you mean. I think they got their cut. I'm not sure. Sorry, I don't understand. Do you have any stickers left? Message me. Anyone who wants stickers, please let me know. I will mail them out to you. I don't have a problem with doing that. Thoughts on Don't Hug Me? I'm scared of getting a show. I don't know that very much, but congrats to them. I don't know that YouTube channel enough. Question for Bloxy. Thoughts on Kevin James' PBJ ASMR video? I haven't watched it. I'll try to watch it before next week. Sorry about that. How do you feel about peanut butter and jelly sandwiches? I've actually, from Bloxy Oxenwinkle, I've actually gotten a bit better at them recently. So, you know, I'm improving. Jacob Shelter, what's movie stuff? Movie stuff is my public access TV show. It's basically just a kind of cut up versions of my reviews of me doing intros and stuff. Sometimes it actually still plays on TV because I let them just play it because that's what I made them for, but not often. And sometimes people say, oh, I hope I saw you on that, but no one's ever. Anyway, there was a bunch of episodes. There's over 15 maybe, something like that. But yeah, that's the deal with that. Are you prone from suffering from blackouts from St. Powers? No, I am not. And Blood Tea, have you seen the alt horror shorts Chickens? Oh, I haven't. That sounds kind of interesting. Okay, send me a link to that. Smooth, question, have you heard of Miami Connection, or you seen anything on Miami Connection? I have heard of it. I have not watched it. I should at some point. I know it is a big kind of bad movie kind of thing. Zane Powers, okay. Not plausible. Sorry, I'm trying to hit as many things as I can. Does Infinity Tron now solely belong to HBO Max? I'm not seeing the CN logo anywhere on the new title art. No, I don't think it's going to be on CN. I think they're exclusively doing it on HBO Max. What they're probably doing, yeah, it's just exclusively an HBO Max thing. They've been kind of saying that for a while, but I think this is more official. Sinram, again, how was your 4th of July weekend? I had a very good 4th of July weekend. Thank you much. It was very relaxing. Oh, now that is a good listen. Everyone is problematic. Cheers to you. Our question, what do you think of Butch Hartman's $100 Christian cartoon? I haven't watched that Saber video, so I don't have opinions, although I feel bad for Saber that he had to pay for it. How did you get past writer's block? I don't really get that, but I usually just work on something else and come back to it if I'm stuck. Or take a walk or something, or think about something else. That's what I usually do. What do you think of Disney Plus killing every single Disney Channel when it's introduced worldwide? I mean, I think those channels are not going to live that much longer. I think we need to get used to that's from Jacob Shelter. I think people being like, this sucks that they're killing these channels. No one's watching those channels anymore. They're going to streaming services. So it's just an evolution, to be honest with you. Is that everything? Let me find one more before I think that's all of it. Maybe that's it. Okay, I think that's it. We're just going to end it. But anyway, we've gone a little long tonight. I want to thank everyone for being here. It's been a cool Saturday night chilling with everyone, even though I feel like it came off a little silly. But thank you all very much for being here for another Saturday edition of Movie Crap. It's always great to be with you guys. It's always fun. I definitely missed it last week. But check out my reviews this week is... sorry, everything from my Disney Plus recommendations, the Movie Crap short, even though there wasn't no Movie Crap, but Hats Off Media, you should check out that, as well as my reviews for Hamilton, Eurovision, every CBS Saturday morning show ever. All really cool videos. You should check those out. And I have a short film that shot last weekend. I wrote it. It was in Maryland where I shot. I wasn't there. That's coming out soon. A lot of cool stuff. But thank you all very much for being here. Thank you for being as nice and supportive of you as you always are. I hope you guys have a good rest of your Saturday night or a good sleep. And I will see you next time. And yeah, and subscribe if somebody would like to. If you would like to. Have a good night, everybody. YouTube.